TNTM The Show presents
Talking Nerdy
October Edition with your hosts
Marvin Goof,
Pablo Gunner.
And the Ambassador, the Mean Ghoul.
Yes, and we are here to talk nerdy to you about all the stuff that will be coming out or that came out for Octubre. And just to give people an idea of our grade scale is must see, must stream, check it out or worth checking out, and then pass.
Yakuza Like a Dragon, Season 1. Were you able to watch all of it?
No, I have not watched all of it.
Okay.
Yeah, I was able to watch it all. I was a little surprised because when I looked it up, I was like, oh, only 3 episodes are out, no problem. But no, it's the whole season.
I said, hold up, wait a minute.
If you play the video games, it's pretty cool. The main Camaracho actually looks like Camaracho in the games. The setting was really well done. And the story I felt was a combination of Yakuza 0 with Yakuza Kiwami. But the only real complaint I had with it was I felt like they didn't have Haruka in it enough. She was just a side character. Well, when you play the Kiwami game, she is pretty heavily involved in the game in general. It had its moments, it was really good, and the fighting was over the top and ridiculous, which I expect. Because the fighting in Yakuza is over the top and ridiculous. I wished we could have gotten more Majima in here, but he did, when he did show up, every time he did show up, he was wonderful. I love it. There's one point where they're like pretty much in desperation, and the leader of the Toho, which had to like basically remove the Majima family from the clan because he's so crazy. You know what? Majima lives for this. Get him over here. That's what he said. Because Majima's just a crazy guy with a bat. And then he also has an eye patch because he pissed off the Yakuza.
Oh no.
So much they took an eye out.
Oh wow. Okay.
But he's a fun character, but their portrayal of Kiru was great. It was nice seeing Yumi more, because in the games you don't see her as much. You really just see her at the beginning and at the end. The twist of having the sister a little bit different in this one was nice, where the sister is actually Haruka's mom instead of it being Yumi. But it was a fun show altogether, and I think what was fun was one of the first scenes they decide to do one of those Sega arcades. Okay. Because in the Yakuza games, there's always a Sega arcade there because Sega makes the game.
Sega makes the game, it makes sense.
Yeah. so it's entertaining, and depending on what year the game is based in, sometimes they will actually get legit Sega arcade cabinets and actually have it so you could technically play the whole game.
Wow.
There in the games, so it was really, really well done. I'd say if you like Yakuza, it's a must see. If you like Japanese shows that are more violent, you'd probably like it as well. What did you think of it so far?
So that first episode, I was blown away. It was absolutely phenomenal. So we watched it, my wife and I watched it dubbed. And the way that they shot it, like you couldn't tell that it wasn't them saying it, right? Like it was so well shot. Like they do it like where it's like the side of their face. So you'd be like, it looks like they're actually saying it. Or the way that first episode was just so well shot, like so phenomenally well done. And I was like, oh, this is gold. And then I saw the second episode and they're like, oh, we're throwing that away, and we're following the game's cutscenes, essentially. And I'm like, but then they did like the thing where, because there's some quirky stuff, especially like the side quests and side plots, they threw even some of that stuff in, and you're like, why? Is it like, yeah, this is part of the game, but it just doesn't belong in this, because my wife was like, I am so lost right now, this is so confusing, I have no idea what's going on, and I was like, yeah, I only kind of feel like I know what's going on because I played the games, because the story, aside from that first episode, the story is just like all over the place, and the dub was not really well done. That's when it wasn't even like, like in the old dub, like it would be so off that you're like, this is great because of how bad it is, right?
Yeah.
This is still trying to be good, but just bad enough to know that it's off to bug me. This isn't a good dub. Like this, it just, like when they don't care, you're like, this is hilarious. But, so it just did not work for me. Like at this point, I'm like, and I did say after the first episode, I was like, should we switch to the sub? Because I feel like, and once again, I don't know if it's going to be the voice actors from the game voicing the characters, since it's actual Japanese people that are playing these characters. That was the other thing. I feel like, yeah, Kiryu looks like a young Kiryu, but he doesn't look like an old, like, even, Nishiki, right? Like, actually, he didn't look bad when he was older.
Yeah.
But when he was younger, he didn't really look like him, which is weird, because it's like, he looked younger. He did look older when he looked older. But, like, he looked good when, he looked more like the character when I feel like most of the characters just didn't look the same way. And so I was kind of complaining about that, and my wife's like, well, you have to also consider, like, the games are like what, like, the ideal, like what they imagine like masculinity is, right? Like what's the perfect ideal, like jacked Japanese dude? Like what does he look like? How's his hair? How is he built? And like here in America, because we don't have the same work schedule as them, right? Like we work. I think we work less. We focus more on working out. A lot of us have more of a muscular build, right? Like especially guys that do have that build. Like they work a lot. I work with a lot of these guys, and they're freaking just monsters, right? And I'm like, yeah, but you put those guys up to Kiryu, the guys that I work with are bigger than Kiryu, you know what I mean, from the video game. And then you put him next to the character that's in the show, he looks tiny. You know what I mean? Like, so, and I'm like, yeah, but that's not what they have in Japan. And I'm like, yeah, okay, that's fair. Like, they did their best with what they had, so it's not bad considering. And it's hard to compare, right? Like, that's the thing, is it's hard to compare. So I want to rewatch it. Yeah, I want to rewatch it, or at least continue watching it subbed. As of right now where I'm at, unless you're really into the series, I would say it's not even worth watching. For me, it's I wouldn't even say for me it's a must-see. For me, it's worth checking out, because I'm like, kind of like, I don't know. Like there's too much that just doesn't, do it for me.
Well, I'd probably give it a shot then. I'm not a Yakuza person, so I'll probably give it a shot.
Let's talk about some of our merch. We have our merch that we're wearing now. I got my Talk Nerdy to Me TDK right here. I mean, I got the TNTM info on the back because I got a rep, of course. These are the best. The all print stuff is the best because this does not fade and it's super comfortable. I got a small, and then I got my Mighty Morphin Power Rangers right here leggings, and they are great, and they're wonderful and warm and super comfortable, and I love them. Yeah, and Slay G made them. So I know this is on the website. I need to put these pants on the website so you can check those out and buy them.
I'm wearing my Mean Ghouls shirt. It's a cross between Mean Girls and Halloween, so I figured it would be fun to wear, and it looks really great. I definitely recommend it if you like Mean Girls.
That's just hilarious right there.
Yeah.
That's just funny. I mean, I'm, of course, repping Magic the Gathering here, of course, because I'm all about magic, so there you go. Especially with this whole exciting new thing with the Secret Lair coming out for Marvel tomorrow, literally. It's definitely an interesting...
What day is that?
The 4th, yeah. So
November 4th.
Yeah, so tomorrow.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right, cool.
Yeah.
And we have another one that says, I'd tap that on the back, which is...
That's just hilarious.
Nerdy and pervy, because it is a reference to magic, right?
Yes.
And then we have here, this is like one of our earliest shirts right here, which is the Dragon Ball design, right? Just like the plain yellow, but it's the Dragon Ball. We have Dragon Ball Z designs as well. I don't know if we have Super. I'll have to work on that one. But there's a lot. I have quotes from Dragon Ball that are both Goku and Vegeta, different ones. I definitely want to get one of those so I can rock that in the gym to give me that gym motivation, and maybe like a headband. I don't know if we have them, but I need to get one for myself. What's great about our merch, 5% of any profit that we make goes to our charity of the month, which for October is Breast Cancer Foundation. And then for November, it is going to be Prostate Cancer Foundation. when you buy merch from us, you're helping them more than you're helping us, because we don't make a lot of profit off of our merch. So we really want to make a difference in the community, in the world, and this stuff means a lot to us. So, or you could just donate directly to them. Regardless, we're down for it. Helping people makes the world go round, right?
Absolutely.
It's beautiful. We're going to do some shout outs for some people that support us. They either retweet us or they share our stuff, like MK Wizard. I always love her tweets and her threads and pretty much anything she posts. She does web comics and stuff, and she has it out now, I think, on Amazon. It's on Amazon.
Nice.
You can buy her book. I think it's called like Psychoborg or something like that, and there's other ones that she's done as well that are like kind of cookbooks. She sent one to me. I can't wait to make cookies for my kids from that. So it's great. I love that because they kind of did something like that in Scott Pilgrim, where they're like, they did how to make this vegan meal, you know? Great. Love that stuff like that. That's so great. We also have Pesky Gremlins, which they also do web comics, and those are funny and they're great. They always help us out. The Semi-Skeptic Pod, they're funny. The Watch It If You Can podcast, they're great. And we also have the Film Rage guys. Those guys are always great, and they're hilarious, and they're always sharing stuff, commenting on our stuff, especially on Instagram. Thank you for that. I listen to their podcast as soon as I can because they cover all the films like as soon as they come out, and I think they pour their own money into it and stuff. So they're putting out the money, man. For our merch coming up, we're gonna do anime and of course Batman, because the Penguin is coming. I'll see if I can come up with like a Pesto the Penguin mashup with the Penguin shirt and see how that goes. And like I said, Prostate Cancer Foundation for November. Okay, cool. Talk nerdy to me.
Keep it nerdy, y'all.
The nerdy planet Earth.